Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Are You Screening podcast. I'm your host, areyouscreening.com's own Mark Eastman, and with me, as always, is co-host extraordinaire Shane Leonard.
Hello.
And this week, we have a strange couple of reviews. One of them that's probably going to really irritate us because we're doing it again, and one of them that is a little streaming
Little
number,
Netflix. Yeah, little Netflix darling.
hopefully is already taking people over. Who knows? But we're going to do highest to lowest. Spike Lee, Denzel Washington. Due to some technical difficulties, we are doing this one again, so we might be irritated enough to be really short in our review, especially because spoiler alert. It's not the greatest movie that ever happened. Right. And then we're also going to do Thursday Murder Club, which stars everyone
Brosnan.
over 60 in Hollywood. And
that's a perfect way to do it. No, that's true. That's the way to do it, man.
But is also just kind of a fun little screwy thing. And before we jump into that, not that we have time to talk about anything because we're going to try and make this one really short for these two movies. But I do want to just throw out really quick, there's a new show on Netflix called Haunted Hotel.
Yep.
And it's animated. It's by, like the guy who did like Crapopolis.
Right.
And
There's
a couple
another
of other things
I'm blanking
that
on the
I am
others.
sort of blanking on.
Yeah.
But it is a very weird show, especially because I am such a big fan of both versions of the show Ghosts, which has a UK version first that America ripped off. And,
right.
And in some ways made better and in some ways made worse, but also is, just a cool show. I really like those shows.
Yeah.
And I like both of them more or less equally.
Yeah.
Especially because, there are some actors in both that I think are great. And, anyway, yada, yada, whatever. But now there's an animated show where almost we kind of have the same idea.
Yeah. Close enough.
This woman's brother died and left her the hotel. And so his ghost is there.
Right.
And there's just all these other ghosts and demons and it's not even just ghosts.
Right.
It's like there's all kinds of everything going on there. And she's got to figure out how to run a hotel. Yeah. She wants the ghosts out, or at least to stop being, psychotic
really
constantly.
Right.
And
poltergeists.
Whatever hilarity ensues. And so basically it is very much the same story, except you can add a bunch of other demons and crazy crap going on that you can't even do in like a live action thing without a massive budget. Right.
Yeah.
But so that, there's all this craziness, and it's not hilarious exactly, but it is like a lot of fun.
It's fun.
And it's like her kids.
That's cool.
And
that's cool to hear.
Their interactions with the ghosts and stuff, and it's really fun. Anyway, so I just want to throw that out. So we will jump into movies because, like I said, we're going to be quick. But
the only quick aside, and really not to dive into it. Mostly, I sometimes do this for me. So when I'm looking back, I remember what was happening. The most notable thing is that Robert Redford just died.
Oh yeah.
And of course, no one who watches films probably needs to know who Robert Redford is. If you're too young and you're not sure, go ask your parents. They probably really loved him. He was an interesting person who started a festival that just went crazy in Sundance. And he lived a life, man. He was almost 90 years old. He was 89, and he had done a lot of work. And, as a timestamp for certain things, that's what's happening.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah, and he was, for me anyway, he was a pretty interesting actor purely based on him him not doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Especially after a certain point in
Right.
his career, and not even a point in his career where it's like kind of a lot of actors would just take less work or whatever, but
Yeah.
even like very early, right?
Yeah.
Like he was so big so fast.
Yeah.
And where a lot of people might have made like 3 movies a year
Yeah.
after that because they could,
Right,
you
right.
know, I mean, he had to like something,
Yeah.
you know, he had to like have a real interest in something.
Yeah, right.
And that's cool.
That
you
is
know,
cool,
so-
and it makes his work impactful in a way. I'll say real quick, the last 2 films I remember us covering, one I thought was a real weird misfire, but he loved it for whatever reason, and it was The Old Man with a Gun.
Right.
And I loved the idea of that. That was a couple years ago we did that, but a couple years before that, one of my favorite films of his, and one of my favorite films of that year, is an almost silent movie, All Is Lost. And it's
Oh,
basically
yeah, right.
Robert Redford is on a sailboat and he's out in the ocean and things start breaking. Now it's not sharks or Jedis or aliens. He's just in a storm and he basically utters, I think, 3 sentences the whole film.
Because you're just watching it.
But it's absolutely captivating. And it's not because he can focus and you're like, wow, look at Robert Redford fix the sail.
right.
You do that, but it's just the way that film is done. That's such a punch of a film. I tell people, you know, you want to see a great film, watch Sneakers, watch Sundance, all the President's Men. Don't forget All Is Lost.
Right.
So
right.
anyway,
Okay. So anyway, jumping right in, I think what we will do is jump in first with Thursday Murder Club.
yeah, easy enough.
Because I swear to God, highest to lowest. If I have to,
You just don't want to talk about it
if I
again.
have to accidentally, talk
I'm actually
too
curious
much
if you'll
about
remember what you gave
that.
it. but-
Mainly because, I probably don't.
no, it's. I mean, who cares? Who cares? It's just my. I mean, we do this all the time. I just, as a friend, I'm like, I'll give you crap about it, but who cares?
So Thursday Murder Club, which is Pierce Brosnan. I don't even want to start because
Helen Mirren,
there's
Ben
so many
Kingsley,
people.
Like it just goes on and on and on, and it.
Everybody's in this movie.
Yeah.
And it is about people who live in this like kind of retirement home.
Yep.
But, you know, in the version of retirement home where I don't even know how to explain it. It's not, and I mean, they're all fine.
Yeah.
It's not,
Right.
it's not like assisted living and
Right,
they're
yeah,
like,
right.
you know, whatever. It's just like a retirement community home, but it's in this big giant house.
Yeah.
Right.
It looks
So
like a
it's-
Downton Abbey location, but
it's something that used to be
Right.
like whatever,
Right.
like an estate.
the
I mean,
gardens
it's
of
like-
the
yeah.
Prince of something. Yeah.
So anyway, it's about these people who live there, and this one, you know, group of the people who live there.
Yeah.
They have like the Thursday Murder Club.
Yeah.
Which that's actually what it's called.
Yeah.
And they somehow, I don't know how all this comes together, except that there's one woman who now is like kind of almost like in a coma,
Yeah.
despite the fact that she's just laying in a bed in a retirement home. She's
Yeah.
not even like
We just
in a
said it's not
hospital
assisted
in a
living, but
coma,
there's a
right?
couple rooms like this.
Right. But it's like the other wing.
Yeah.
or
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah. That is it. It's
But
the other wing.
she is like the founder of the club or whatever.
Yeah.
And they go through like old cold cases.
Yeah.
However they get these cases, I don't know. That was mostly down to her
just-
apparently.
yeah.
She would pick what they were doing.
Yeah.
And these like 4 or 5 people in the retirement home like solve these cases.
Yep.
And then somebody gets murdered and
For reals.
well, right.
For the reals.
For like
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
And then, so now we have to investigate. And,
Now who do we call?
and
We call the murder club.
Hilarity ensues.
Yeah.
Right. And it is, you know, I don't know how positive or negative I want this to sound, but it is.
That's usually bad.
It is the most Murder, She Wrote movie
Yeah.
that you are ever going to run into. And, you know, people don't even know what Murder, She Wrote is
I do.
anymore
I
or
still
whatever.
do. Oh, our audience does. They're good. They're kept.
But you know, it's a funny show if you had to watch it.
I feel like I had to watch it.
And back when there were 3 networks,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
and
God.
there were only 3, 4, maybe kind of 5 choices of what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Growing Pains could get some ratings, man.
Yeah, man.
Because
And it did.
because the other
Yeah.
because what are you going to do?
Right.
What else are you going to watch?
Yeah.
But, Murder, She Wrote was really like, kind of famously now at this point in meme land of, the kind of old gag joke about it. Like, why didn't they lock her up?
Why wasn't Jessica Fletcher?
Stop letting her
Didn't
go
they discover?
places.
Yeah, everywhere she went, people died. Everywhere.
Anyway, but so in this one,
funny.
it's a really kind of interesting, to me, even whether you love this movie or think it's bonkers and for old people. Either way, it's an interesting spin they're trying to do where it's like half, just for people who wish there was more Columbo or, whatever. And then it's trying to be like sort of half Only Murders in the Building kind of a thing. And we're trying to mash those together, and we're trying to let Pierce Brosnan off the leash once in a while.
Let him go. The kids say, let him cook, right? Let that man go. Holy crap.
Anyway, and so that's what the movie is. And it's just, they have like their run-ins with the police who are trying to do their investigation. Now they have to like in all these type of shows and movies, they have to try and get around the police investigation and all this stuff. And Helen Mirren is or is not the ex-head of MI5 or 6 or
MI6,
whatever.
That's where she got her car.
Is,
yeah, right.
And so it's like it's well done in this movie, I think, and it could go really wrong. Yeah. And it doesn't, I don't think, and maybe some people will think that it does, but they have a interesting thing where there's like the people who are in the actual police trying to investigate this, and Helen Mirren just going, oh yeah,
yeah, right, oh yeah,
and it's Helen Mirren, so I mean whatever. Anyway, that's the movie, and like I said, hilarity ensues, and now we catch bad guys, and whatever. So now trying to throw out ratings.
Yeah.
I actually really like this movie, but not in a way that I can actually translate into a lot of points on the scale.
Interesting. Here we go. I do know what you're saying.
And I'll tell you this. I'm going to throw this like weird segue into something else because I was recently going back over our worst movies of the year.
Oh, yeah, that's all right.
And
interesting.
And on your list, and not on my list because I had not seen it.
Oh, okay.
Was The Parenting?
Yeah,
which was this
Brian Cox and everybody.
Yeah, everyone's in it. Tons of big names.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, the two like kind of main people, not big names. Which I thought this is like a really interesting and strange choice.
Yeah. For
you're making a movie where you get like all the parents are somebody.
Yeah.
And then Parker Posey.
Yeah. Right.
Are like somebody like serious.
Yeah.
Falco's in it.
Yep.
What's her name? Kudrow is like it's
Lisa Kudrow.
Like it's all
and,
like it's
Breaking
all like
Bad guy
people.
who I'm blanking on.
And it's Brian Cox. Oddly enough,
did you see it? Or did you?
Oh yeah. And
he's great.
Yeah, so
I'll watch it. For Brian
so I
Cox's.
watched it.
Oh God, that's awesome!
Like,
I didn't know this
because I was like, I never did like go back and watch that because at the time I'm like, what?
Yeah, I surprised
it's
you with
some
that
like
one.
Straight to video thing. So anyway, and it's all about like this haunted house. They go to this B&B and for the weirdest of reasons, these this gay couple invite their parents to this B&B.
Yeah.
Seemingly for no reason.
Right.
Maybe if you pay attention more, there's a reason. Except that, the sneaky reason is that, the one's going to propose and wants the family there and all that.
Yeah.
Anyway, and they're all just having like this weekend and whatever. And Parker Posey is the person who owns the B&B.
Right.
who's trying to summon the demon,
This is
whatever.
great.
Anyway. And so the reason that I bring this up at all is because that is just really the most horrible movie.
Isn't it? It's so bad.
It is, but also I kind of loved it.
I know.
And so this is like the exact.
I know.
This is the exact same thing in how this. Why I bring this up?
Right.
Because I liked that movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, I also hated it, but I
Yeah.
liked that movie.
I know.
In a lot of ways, right? That I cannot translate into any rating points, right?
No, me either.
I
And-
still would like at best I might give that movie like a 2.
I think that's what
I
mean,
don't. I don't
yeah.
think it's like a 0, right? It's
No,
not,
it isn't. No, it can't be.
It's not that awful, but
It is
you know
bad.
the problem with that movie is that
This is awesome.
it did not actually try to do its own concept,
No, at all.
which is just such a horrible thing.
It gave
for a
up on
movie.
it.
When you're
Yeah.
watching a movie.
I know.
If you're going to make this movie, if you're going to get Brian Cox
Yeah.
to do the absolute psychotic nonsense that he does in
He-
this movie,
he
that is
goes.
absolutely goofy,
Yeah.
right? I feel like he just wanted to make this movie, and this is
Yeah.
in a way a horrible thing to say, and you're not supposed to say stuff like this, but
Yeah.
I think he wanted to make this movie like before he died.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I'm getting up there. I've done a lot of stuff.
Right.
Now I'm in this, big thing
Yep.
where I'm popular and everything.
Yep.
I want to do some screwball batshit movie,
And I
before
I bet
too
he
old to
said,
be doing stuff.
I'm
right?
afraid of this role. That's why I have to
Right?
take it.
Right.
And he was afraid of it for a real good reason.
Right. Anyway,
Yeah.
so that movie is completely screwy, but like I said, it's not really
Gotta
a
see it.
0,
No.
right? But
Yeah.
it's I don't even want to think about it that much, but probably I could give it like a 2.
Yeah.
Almost like a 3. It could have had a 3 super easy.
It could have.
But also it could have been good.
yeah.
Could have been like
It should have been. It's
It
got
could have
so
been
much
like a
talent.
7 or 8 or
Yeah.
something where
Yeah.
that would be a movie that, like you said when you were talking about it in our worst list, back in the 80s, they made a bunch
Saturday
of
the
these,
14th. It reminds me of
they
that.
made a bunch of these screwball horror things where they're
Yeah.
horror because,
Right.
because, like some goo lands on people.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
no,
I
there's nothing even the slightest bit scary about
No.
it.
not really.
But there were like these movies, and this is kind of like a throwback to those things.
yeah.
But this movie has this is a concept movie,
Yeah.
and then it just didn't do it.
Yeah.
Nothing that's supposed to be funny is really all that funny.
Yeah.
There are a few things that are like a little bit funny.
Right.
Most of what's funny, or even what's supposed to be funny, is people's lack of reaction to
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
And they don't nail that.
No, I know.
They have
It's like a student film.
a lot of actors
Yeah.
who are pretty good.
Yeah.
In general, they've been
Right.
in tons of stuff. They're good. But there's only one Bob Newhart for a reason.
That's right.
Because man,
Yeah.
trying to have your deadpan reaction to things
Yeah.
is really hard
It
to
is
get
hard.
right.
It is.
It's really hard to nail.
Yeah.
I feel like Lisa Kudrow comes the closest to delivering some serious comedy in this.
Yeah.
With her ability to somehow not be involved in what she's involved in.
Yeah.
And that is
There's
funny.
a real
at times,
disassociation
right?
there. Yeah.
But anyway, so that, completely long-winded tangent just to say
Oh, yeah.
that this movie also is kind of in that same thing. This movie is like a concept thing that it really went for the easiest, lowest, non-daring version
Yeah.
of this concept and didn't really go for it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff I really like in this movie, but not in a way that really translates into
Yeah.
being able to rate it very highly, because I like it because I think it's fun to watch Pierce Brosnan just go off. That's not really a positive for your movie.
That's an SNL skit.
That's
is
not
what it is.
That's not really
Yeah, right.
some endorsement worthy
Right.
thing
Right.
that is a good about the movie. Anyway, so there's a lot. So anyway, all of that horrendous babbling explanation just to say, I could only give this movie a 3.5.
Oh, I was on the other side of
It's
5 for you. Yeah,
it's
I get it.
I might at some later date even be persuaded to 4, right?
Yeah.
But it's like average, and then it's just not quite actually average. It's a bit lower than that, and mainly because most people who watch this, I think, will be way more forgiving than me, and they'll go, well, but I watched it and I kind of had fun and it was fine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, but that for me is 3.5.
Right.
That's like, you get done with the movie and, you know, and I don't know, people who are normal people who watch movies, watch a movie and at the end they go, I mean, that was fine. This is like, you know, airplane movie where you're just, I need something to kill time that I can stand
I'm on
to
the
watch,
bus or I'm in
right?
the terminal. Yeah.
And you go, yeah, I mean, that was okay. I spent time watching that.
Yeah.
That's not good. Right.
Yeah.
That's sad. And this movie should have been so much better. And it's got lots of things to like about it. The people are all good in it. But you know, at the end of the movie, it's just like, it just should have done so many things better and differently. There is a lot of fun watching these people watching these people work with this concept. This is almost like if you took these people, right? If you had all these actors and, you know, some dude just wrote a play.
Right.
And you went, I got them to do it, and they'll do it. And then you watch it, and it's a bad play.
Right.
But at the end of it, you know, you're like, that was fun watching them do that.
Yeah.
That was a good time. I like that. But that doesn't mean the play's good.
Right.
That just means you have awesome actors doing something at least passable, and you go, that's fun. I don't know. Anyway, that's
sometimes we'll talk about a film. Lately, it's been like an Adam Sandler film where you're like, look, you guys, you want to get all my friends together and go to Hawaii for 3 weeks and we'll film something, but we'll also do this.
Exactly.
They don't really go anywhere exotic, although whatever I am led to believe, if this isn't like upstate Connecticut, it looks like somewhere in upstate England, like whatever it is. Of course, it's England because the police are English.
I love upstate England,
but you know, upstate England. That's
start using that.
I love using that too. I actually, that's an inside joke that I forget isn't with you. It's with another friend. Anyway, it just looks like it was such a fun time. And if you're anybody in this cast who also, David Tennant is in it, but what isn't David Tennant in? Jonathan Pryce is in it.
Oh yeah,
you know, like the like you said earlier, man, this just has a loaded cast of people, and then there are a lot of people I don't recognize, which might be from English productions, or
that's
maybe not.
That's because you hate British TV.
I just hate British TV, notoriously and still continually. It might have just been like, you know, hey, Helen Mirren and Ben Kingsley are in. You want to do this? He's like, absolutely.
Right.
You know, and if Pierce Brosnan, if Ben Kingsley hears these other people, whatever it is that got them together, might have been more fun than the end product. Everything you said, I agree with. It definitely has vibes of Only Murders in the Building, very hard. And then as it proceeds to go through, it's almost exactly 2 hours. It just starts not falling off the rails for me. It just literally becomes the murder mystery Ghost in the Machine, where somebody looks at a photo and they're like, oh, and then they go off into a room and there's a clue. Right. And, you know, it's just such a Scooby-Doo mystery for me.
It's like I said, it's this mashup of Murder, She Wrote and Only Murders in the Building.
Right.
Right. And it's like, you know, at the beginning of the movie, it's like more... And then at the end of the movie, you expect Angela Lansbury to walk in,
right? And it really is just when they discover what's happening. It's just sort of like, you know, you and I were old guys. We remember the Columbo, the you know, whatever the old crime shows of that era
Kojak.
were. All of those, you know, suddenly everybody's in a room, and then the detective gets to say, you know, I saw your hair clipping here, and there was a bathrobe mat there, and
Right.
I know you weren't here because you're allergic to chicken, you know, and
Right.
it's like, ooh. And then the SWAT team comes in and they arrest someone, and he says, I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you rascally kids. Blah.
Right.
The movie has all the good intentions. It's strangely done by Chris Columbus, who did Harry Potter and Home Alone and a ton of other things.
Right.
As soon as I saw his name on the credit, which I didn't see before, I went, right. It's an absolute safe, playing it right down the middle, no risks at all. Pierce Brosnan steals this film, especially later when he wears his suit. I cracked up, and that whole scene amused me, even though it's late in the movie. This is a front-loaded film for me. I think the first 40 minutes are the best, and I don't even, you know, not a whole lot happens then, or we're just
Right.
getting his introductions, but it hasn't had time to get dumb, pedantic, or sort of in a very well-meaning way condescending. The irony here is that if you're a true crime fan, there are only a couple genres of true crime that are really out there, and they're all sort of predictable. As a true crime film that's going to play it safe and be PG, this is really predictable. It's sort of self-effacingly funny, while it really does hold a mirror up to its own genre, which is very small, which is a bunch of senior citizens who are trying to solve crimes. Because the great joke of this, and they just don't pursue it enough, is that in a community like this, where the new character says to her daughter, like, I need to make friends,
Right.
you have little niches, and there's the archery niche, and there's the croquet niche, and then there's probably a knitting. There is, because the room is sometimes on Tuesdays for knitting.
Right.
And then there's that really small group of people that just love watching crime scenes, and then they made a little club, and now isn't that cute? And they just think they own the roost. And that stuff is really funny. It's just glossed over. All that to say, it's below average for me. I thought I was giving it a kind 4. I'm going to stay at 4. But it's 4 mostly for how subtle and supportive Ben Kingsley is in his role.
Yeah.
And he's just got easy, fun lines that he owns. He doesn't try to steal anything. He just lays them in there. Helen Mirren is fun to watch go through most of the film. Pierce Brosnan is the killer in here. He's the ace. I don't mean he's the killer. He's just the ace
That would be funny.
that would
Spoiler
be funny. Spoiler. I'm having a blast watching Pierce Brosnan just sort of float around all of these strange groups.
Right.
But talking about it is not as exciting as watching it.
Right,
and
right.
it is almost the kind of film that I would have watched over my phone. I would have had my phone in my hand and scrolling and looked up every few minutes, and I didn't quite do that, but I wasn't that far off.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's the
But
best
you
I
thought
can do.
you thought I would be on the other side of 5?
Yeah, I thought I was going to go a little under average, and I thought you might be a little more forgiving. I actually wrote down, because I have fun writing down the scores in advance to see if I get close. I had you at 5.5, 6.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just the other side.
Yeah,
So,
and I think for a lot of people it will be, though.
I do too. I think
for
that's
a-
where it's
for
gonna
a
land.
lot of people, this is going to be like 5 to 7.
Yeah, I do too.
And because they're going to have more fun with it than we did, and you know, like I said, there's fun to be had with it.
Yeah.
Just because we say a bunch of negative things,
Yeah.
and give it a low rating, it does have a lot of fun. I mean, it's not like we're saying
It's not a 0.
1
And the
or
big difference
whatever.
from 0 to 3 or 4 is enormous.
Yeah.
The gulf we've talked about forever in 7, it should have easily hit low 7.
It should have, yeah.
And that it isn't is the disappointment.
Right. Okay. So moving on quickly, because we're going to try to be fast with this. Highest to lowest Spike Lee movie with Denzel Washington and Jeffrey Wright and everybody else in the universe. And as I said, we covered this movie already, and frankly, I'm sick of talking about it. I think I gave it a 2.
Let me look real
but
quick.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Highest to the lowest, a 3.
Oh, 3?
Yeah, I mean, that's not.
Did I give it 3?
You gave it 3.
All right, so I give it a 3.
Yeah.
Let's say. And there is, I don't know, we just jump right out with this fast. I gave it a 3.
Yeah.
You give it?
I gave it a 4.5.
Okay.
Still below average, but
Yeah. But
I've had time to think about it. I'd probably drop that, but
better
not a
than
lot.
me.
I would have
Yeah.
given it a 4.
Yeah, so the movie is about Denzel Washington is this record producer who is at this point maybe a little older.
Yeah.
He started this record company. He doesn't have complete control of it anymore because now it's this huge empire.
Right.
It's got all sorts of investment happening over all the years to where he doesn't actually have complete control, which he is trying to finagle getting back. One whole plot of the movie is kind of, and a lot of the start, more than I anticipated, is about whatever he is going to do or not do in order to try and get total control of it again.
Yeah.
As the board looks to actually sell out completely,
Right.
and he wants to avoid that. Then his son gets kidnapped. Now it's all about the ransom. Then it turns out his son didn't get kidnapped, and whatever. Hilarity ensues. All this goofy stuff happens. And then it's about, what the box of the movie tells you it's about.
Right. Right.
Is all
this
this moral dilemma and decisions and who he is and on and on and on.
Right.
And anyway, hilarity ensues. And what it's actually about is I don't know, the life and times of psychopaths or whatever it is. I don't know.
Right.
Anyway, and honestly, the more I talk about it, the less I like it.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
so I'd honestly, somewhere between 2 and 3. It's hard to say exactly. There's a lot of fun stuff in this movie. There's a lot of good stuff in this movie. But man, overall, it just doesn't pan out.
I don't remember how much of this was really your problem with the film. And I respect him as a filmmaker, and I like a fair number of his movies. But for me, the biggest problem with this film is Spike Lee. He's in the way, and he can't get out of his way. And some of the things that he seems to really think would make this movie better shouldn't be in a movie anywhere near as long as they are. And when we did this the first time without a technical difficulty, I harped a lot on this Puerto Rican celebration scene that has a chase that is absolutely nonsensical, that ends up with is it Dean Winters? Like, he's the pursuing cop.
Yeah, right.
People recognize him from the Allstate commercials or the insurance commercials, and maybe from Oz. They talk a lot in the beginning about how, don't worry, your money's safe. This is like $18 million. You had a very funny rant about how it had to be in European bills because, you just can't carry around this money. Like they show you in movies that you can. And he just keeps telling Denzel's character and his family, like, don't worry, we got a tracking device in there. He doesn't say an AirTag, but you know, there's some kind of thing in there. And then they mysteriously lose the money and the movie goes off and they just forget to check the tracking device that he says their whole family can follow on their phone. That's a small nitpicky microcosm of the bigger example that in almost every scene that doesn't work for me, and there are a lot of scenes that don't work for me because they seem to be maybe culturally out of my reach. This is, again, Spike Lee makes films for everybody, but his focus certainly happens to almost always be on black culture or other cultures, and that's awesome. When it works for me, I love them, and when it doesn't, I'm still there appreciative, but it just didn't work for me. And this is one that just doesn't work for me for a number of different reasons, both the casting of up-and-coming musical stars in the real musical industry to take on acting roles, going against people that can really perform, like Jeffrey Wright, and, of course, Denzel Washington makes the scenes look flat. The writing in those scenes make those scenes ineffective, and I'm like, no one would ever do this. We spent a long time going through a variety of these scenes and sort of punching through them why they didn't work. And in the end, like you alluded to just a few minutes ago, I forgot, you actually laid out a really good argument that Denzel's character is just a psychopath.
Yeah.
He's masked it well. His family doesn't seem to really know him from the deception that he puts on his wife about the company and his intentions to when they discover their kid has been kidnapped and they act like the dog just got out of the condo instead of their child is kidnapped. I'll blather down a little to just say the better film that one should see for these things that made me think of them when I was watching this is for the first half when Denzel is trying to pull all these strings together. Kevin Costner did this way better in a football movie called Field Day. And it sounds weird to associate them, but he's just got so many things he's trying to pull together in just one day of work. You get the sense that Denzel is trying to do that here, but it just feels so clumsy. And if you just want to watch a ransom film with a A-list Hollywood star, go watch Mel Gibson, whether you like him or not, in Ron Howard's Ransom. Like, that's a film that has a lot of strange repercussions about, do we pay, do we not? If we pay, do we lose the money? Do we get our kid? Like, there's so many things. And that actually coincidentally has a Spike Lee alum in Delroy Lindo in it. That's really fantastic. I would suggest in so many ways to just watch films that are trying to do what this film is doing, but have done it better instead of this, because this is just disappointing.
Yeah. And this movie, like I said, we're not being fair to this movie and we're going to go fast and get done with this because we already did it. But in this movie, there's so much of it that is so absolutely unreal that, stems in such weird ways from Spike Lee clearly just having like weird delusions of grandeur.
Yeah.
And it's in ways being so similar to so many movies that now exist from directors who get huge.
Yeah.
And then after they're huge, then their next movie just seems like all it's doing is telling you how brilliant it is.
Look at how great I am.
Like, it's not even, and it's so weird. And there's so much of this that is just weirdly removed from reality.
Yeah.
It at one part, Denzel and his wife are like having this conversation on the balcony of their huge apartment. And there is nothing less real about two married people talking to each other than that scene. Yeah. I don't know if I can think of off the top of my head what's a less realistic conversation you've ever seen. It's the goofiest conversation. It's like by, for, and about people who have never been in a relationship with anyone before. It's so just weird that it takes you out of it. Right. It's like now you're watching it in a different way. Right. You're like watching the movie differently. Yeah. Then we get to the kid gets kidnapped. Yeah. We find out it's not his kid, but they have accidentally kidnapped his kid's friend,
the best friend,
who is Denzel Washington's kind of right-hand man, Jeffrey Wright, in this movie. Yeah. It's his kid. Right. Like, they've grown up together, whatever. They're basically brothers, kind of whatever deal. Right. And they've accidentally, kidnapped him. So, Denzel's getting all this money together and everything. Then we find out it's the wrong kid. And Denzel's response is not this moral conundrum that Spike Lee thinks he's delivering. Like, his reaction is not, well, do I still pay the ransom when it's not my son? His reaction is like, obviously no one would ever pay the ransom when it's not their son. Like, it's such a bizarrely sociopathic response. Yeah. And then the movie just delivers it as though it makes some kind of sense. Right.
It's just on and going. Yeah.
Right. It's like when, it's like, imagine you're at some like huge dinner party and somebody says something, like everyone in the room just drops their drink and goes, where am I now? Because it's like such a crazy response he has. And I don't know if it's supposed to be that crazy and we nailed it, or it's not supposed to come across as that crazy,
Right.
and we don't realize
Yeah.
making the movie that that's how crazy it is.
What a misfire it was.
I don't know which one of those it is, but then
Yeah.
later, he's talking to his wife. They're in bed. They're talking about,
Oh, yeah.
paying the money, whatever. And you've got the absolute sociopathic response of Denzel, and his wife goes, "You think that's a sociopathic response?
Right.
Well, hold my beer."
Yeah.
And you're like, what movie am I watching
Yeah.
now? And how is this supposed to be delivering anything about morality or,
Yeah.
it's so weird. And like I said, all of a sudden you're watching this movie in a whole other way
Yeah.
because you're not watching, it's like you're not watching something you're supposed to believe.
Right.
You're watching something. And the first time we did this, unfortunately, my big point was if this movie's supposed to be a fairy tale,
Oh, yeah.
and it's supposed to have that kind of
Yeah.
delivery where, believing the story is not the interesting part of the fable,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
It's what you get out of that story or whatever.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to believe that this is a thing that's really happening or
Right.
that, even as a story is really happening or, whatever.
Yeah.
Like if I'm supposed to watch this movie like it was kind of a fairy tale story and
Right.
it's all hyperbolic and I'm supposed to, pull out the morality kind of thing, maybe it kind of works.
Right.
But it doesn't.
No.
And it could have,
Right.
but it didn't. So then what am I supposed to do? I can't
Yeah.
pretend that it's doing a different movie than,
Right.
than it's anyway. But it's just so much of it is so ludicrously unreal.
Yeah.
And then you even get to
Yeah.
the scene where, and it's A$AP Rocky is the guy who is like the rapper who
Young felon.
spoiler alert.
Yep. Yep.
Who like did the kidnapping.
Yep.
Like you said, when they do the transfer of the money,
Yeah.
and we don't have to cover like everything that we ever said before.
Train drop and all the awful stupid
but it's
things.
it's the most goofball thing ever. And as I said, in this day and age, you can't have cash ransom. It just never would happen.
Yeah.
This
Bitcoin
whole
me.
like
Yeah.
I'm gonna trick the police following you and the whole blah blah blah. And it's like it just can't happen. And Spike Lee's like, nah, we'll make it happen. Well, how's it gonna happen? Magic. Okay,
Right.
fine. Then boom, it happened. Yay.
Yeah.
And now that happened.
Right.
And you're like,
Spike heard somewhere.
great, now I have to move on.
He really heard somewhere that, of course, 1,000 or 10,000 American dollars is equal to one Swiss franc unit of thing, and he's like, "Well, I'm putting that in the film
because
somewhere
Swiss
down the
francs
line."
can have $1,000
Right.
denomination bills,
Right.
which Spike Lee watches our show, is really pissed that
Hey,
I
Spike.
keep saying,
Yeah.
why do they have
This guy.
this amount of money in a
Right.
duffel bag? Because that's not how big,
Yeah.
$7 million you cannot fit in your
Right.
backpack.
Right.
And Spike Lee was like, but they got 1,000
Yeah.
note
Yeah.
things in Swiss francs
That
and
can be in
whatever,
there.
and it still doesn't work. They
doesn't work.
show you the math in the movie,
Yeah.
and yet it still doesn't actually work.
Right.
It still would not be that small, but
Yeah.
whatever. So why does it have to be $17.5 million? Just make it less.
That was the other
and then
thing,
it would
too.
fit in the backpack.
What a weird
anyway,
number.
I don't know. It's that part's goofy, but anyway, so Denzel Washington
Right.
goes around the police, figures out where he is, finds him, has him in his little recording studio.
Yeah.
Denzel has
Yeah.
a gun on him. Then they have this just absolutely bonkers conversation
Yeah.
that is like I don't even know where to begin with this conversation that they have, which is not a conversation that Denzel Washington's character would ever have.
Right.
That would never happen. The guy that I've been watching this whole movie would not do that. And at the end, the guy has to kind of escape so that we can like chase him.
Right.
That would never happen.
Right.
The guy who Denzel Washington's character is, even if we allow him this stupid conversation, which would
Yeah.
never happen, there is absolutely no way that, I mean, as soon as that dude
As
went for
soon
his
as
gun,
it
his
happens.
gun at
Yeah.
all, he'd be dead.
Right.
Like, there's no way that would happen. And if you want it to happen,
Yeah.
you have to do something else.
Right.
Something else has to happen so that I can believe
Other people have to come in. Or
So
something.
yeah, somebody busts through the door and
and we,
Denzel has to pay attention to them for a
Right.
second, and so then he just runs away. Or
We talked about this too. It also, my last thing to complain about is that whole scene for 12 minutes or so sets up this climax that doesn't work, and then in another 5 minutes after that's resolved, they have another through the glass conversation. They do it again in prison, and I'm like, the hell did you do that for?
And it's just as bad.
It's just
and
as bad.
nonsensical.
Yeah, it's
The
such a
whole
bad
thing is
film.
like Spike Lee has this list of 50 fortune cookie things he wants to say in the movie, and God damn it, they're going to be in the movie.
I'm going to put him
somehow.
in because I'm Spike Lee.
And I'm going to, well, we would need this scene. Well, then we're having that scene.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense for things to happen that way. I don't care.
Yeah.
And, you know, and we got all these things we want to front load at the beginning when they have that conversation that's completely unrealistic.
Yeah.
Okay, but this is not how actual humans talk. I don't care. This
Right.
is what's going to be in the movie. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just, but built into that, it sounds like this should be 0, but
No, it isn't. There's still good
within
things.
it, there is some good stuff.
Yeah.
Mostly for me anyway, mostly when Denzel Washington is not like lassoed to some goofy thing that has to happen.
Right.
When there are just other scenes that he's in,
Yeah.
you're like, damn.
Yeah.
Right? Like this is like there are several scenes in the movie where you're like, that is a great scene.
Yeah.
And have anything to do with the movie I'm watching,
no,
but
yeah.
you know, does not really connect with the movie I'm watching. He's not that character in the next scene. He's a different character.
Yeah.
Because that's what he needs to be over here.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really kind of a bummer. And the last thing I'm going to say is because I don't want to forget it from the first time that I mentioned it when I'm talking about Denzel, because there are times in this movie where, and I think this is like a serious thing for this movie. There are times in the movie, right, where like as great as Denzel is, I just don't believe that he's being that character,
Yeah.
right? And the problem is that the movie is going, you know, wait 5 minutes and the movie will go, that character's not that character
Yeah.
that you thought he was.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, wait, maybe Denzel wasn't doing anything wrong because I thought he was playing the character wrong.
Right.
But the movie keeps telling me the character is a different character.
Yeah, in every environment,
Because-
Denzel is a different person. Seriously, on some big or small level.
Yeah, and in like a wrong way, right?
Right.
Not in the way like he's got
Right.
all these layers and he's
No.
different people.
Yeah.
He's a different person
That's
when
a-
he's at home
that's
or
a
when
good
he's,
point.
you know, in a whatever, like not in a good way.
It's not
like
the
that.
human complexity of things. It's just we
Like-
need him to be more maniacal here and
Right.
more awful here, and you know what?
Right,
You know?
especially when you compare like all these different bits and pieces he has to do.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like in that end scene, you just told us he's an absolute sociopath,
Yeah.
whatever.
Right.
Now he's got this guy alone,
Yeah.
you know, gets the drop on this dude with a gun, and
Yeah.
this character over here is going to do this over
Yeah.
here. No.
My last thought on this before you either do or don't wrap it up was I also remember, because we talked more about the end, and I just thought, not taking pot shots at anything, there's the realization that maybe the film just is not in my wheelhouse of interests overall outside of films, and I like Spike Lee most of the time. Sometimes, the small majority of the times, I like Denzel a lot. I like Jeffrey Wright a lot. It sort of tries to push me away, me maybe specifically, with its interest in certain genres of things, and the film ends with, you know, Denzel's character as a mogul trying to start up his own record company, and they audition this singer that does a really awful song, and you have to hear the whole thing.
Right.
You know, and I'm just sort of like, God, what a weird set of choices to make like a 15-minute chase scene with music that sounds sort of bubblegum, and just to do this, and it doesn't ensure a lot of confidence in that, and I don't believe the character would risk everything to get to this point, and It's just a bunch of ideas that you're supposed to believe because I'm Spike Lee and I said so.
Yeah.
You know. So,
Yeah, exactly like the ransom thing working out.
Right, exactly like
magic.
that. Magic, because I need it to work this
And
way.
just for completionist kind of things, I do want to say this is based on a book, and then it is also based on an Akira Kurosawa film, which is
based on the Ed McMahon book.
And let me tell you, it is. I have not read the book, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But it is not based on that movie in any kind of way,
Right.
because that movie is great.
Yeah.
And
I saw that ages ago.
And
it's really great.
Just ultimately is about something different. Almost.
Yeah.
It's
the names are the same, but the motivations are very
yeah.
off.
And this, if this movie actually delivered a realistic moral dilemma that we're having, where a real person might actually come in a way to, I don't know if I should pay it when it's not my kid or whatever.
Right. That's an interesting idea,
because maybe that ruins my whole life or whatever. Right. Like that could be like a thing. Right. But the way Denzel in this movie just goes, well, I'm a sociopath, so,
I need the money for the deal I'm making.
I was thinking pretty hard when I had to pay it for my own kid. It's like,
that's a huge point.
Sociopathic.
We forgot to say that in both films, both attempts. Like, that's a huge thing. He genuinely shows, young buck is trying to get in my way, Yeah, anyway. Actually, that's a true thing. That's really funny.
So that's a crazy movie, and I can't really recommend you go see it. But thanks for tuning in. Please, hit the subscribe. It is actually really interesting. Also, listen to us wherever you are listening to this, wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you do listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts, also leave a review, share, all that stuff. It's really helpful to us. And thanks. We'll see you next week.
Bye.